Yeah, so I don't know, man. Let's talk about some I'm still looking it up in my game. I don't know how it's been for you. It's odd. It's it sometimes like last mile courier, and when I refer to that, everybody who's here knows this about me. I'm talking about not food. I'm talking about,
Yeah, delivery.
whether courier or other ones. I'm talking about doing last mile courier services,
Hmm.
moving things, and whatnot. And a lot of times more work comes with that. But it's been, coming into summer, it was great. And then I like had a slow week, but then this week's been bombing again. Like I feel like overall it's not I'm 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 definitely not taking the beating that some people are on these other apps.
On the apps, you said.
Yeah, like people who are working food delivery apps only.
Hmm.
I know they're having hard times right now. And like,
Yeah, it's slow. Yeah. Well, that's kind of seemed like the
you know,
downturn in the economy. As people money starting to slow up. Food sharing is going out the window, especially the high fees attached to it. I'm sure people starting seeing lesser tips, even in the areas that they were good in.
but
But
that's
I,
why I say what we do is is right now the best
yeah,
because there's no even in a slow economy, there's you still have to get things places.
things, yeah, exactly.
They still
Now,
have to
even
get places.
construction slows up a little bit, but it doesn't stop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's still thing like I said, stuff still needs to be transported. People still need to get moving. I found that the auto parts courier work that I'm doing is picked up with people not going out to actually buy cars as much as usual. They're actually getting more cars repaired, picking up old cars, repairing older cars that they had sitting around. So I'm getting a lot more work with that in my car, and I have another driver who's actually doing my running my van right now, doing some work. So it's definitely working out for me with the van doing more last mile delivery.
For
And
sure.
this thing, even if you don't have a cargo van, there are several apps, that I've seen people pick up on that's doing those food boxes, like the meal prep
Yeah, like
companies,
the catering
Fresh,
orders and
Hello
stuff.
Fresh, yeah, catering order, yeah, Hello Fresh, and catering orders. A lot of
Hmm.
big catering orders, but again, those are only like during lunchtime once a day, so that's really not that too consistent of work. So it is
Well, the
hard
hell,
out there.
I know the Hello Fresh. I don't know if they are now, but when I was doing VHO, Hello Fresh was through
Yeah,
VHO,
that
so
was
you could
yeah, and
spend a
then
whole day delivering
yeah,
Hello Fresh.
exactly. Axle Hire is another gig app that's very
Hmm.
similar to VHO. Same thing. Jump on at a certain time. Make sure you get your routes and everything. So it's just competitive, but like I said, I get pops up every day, like one or two routes still available. People
Are you making more money than you were like in March? Or because
um
you're in Atlanta, does it not really matter? See, I live in a seasonal.
see, yeah, no, no,
It's a little
no,
more
yeah,
seasonal.
it's definitely been consistent all year as far as the route, as far as money making. I just the only thing is just more and more people are jumping on as drivers, so it's becoming more saturated. Like before, you'll see 5 routes available. Now it's only maybe 1 route available. By the time you get on there, so that's the only difference. Just the word getting out, people, and whether they're losing their job, transferring to something new, or just looking for extra source of income. The word is getting out about these last mile delivery apps.
Yeah, and the other, I mean, like Curry's a good example for me to say, like they protect us drivers by not onboarding and having that waiting list. But at the same,
Yeah.
but at the same time, man, like that's what I'm talking about last week. I feel like last week they must have onboarded people to even my area, which is pretty
Mm,
populated with drivers, and we work it well. But every of the few orders I did see come up were like people were grabbing at them. I'm like, that order was awful. Leave it.
mm.
And
Leave it,
like all
yeah.
of us veteran drivers know, don't touch that. And people were
Mm.
grabbing all of them, all the bad offers. And
Yeah,
I'm
but that's
hoping
yeah,
like by
that's
this
the
week they
unfortunate thing.
realized, man, I took that for like if they took something for let's say $15 that I wouldn't have done under 40. I'm hoping they realize and they're like, dude, this doesn't work for me, or
Mm.
or are changing their game because I hope they're not just going to keep sitting there for weeks and trying
Yeah,
this.
yeah. And I've kind of noticed that different companies are using different apps. The one might use GoShare one day. They might send some stuff on freight. Now it's the company called One Rail. Now I don't know if all the companies sign up on the One Rail, and One Rail shoots the orders out to different apps. I'm still trying to kind of learn that process and what that company is, because I notice on the GoShare and freight where I get most of my app orders from, they're saying
Mm-hmm.
one rail. So I kind of multi-app that, and I'm gonna make about $100 extra a day, just multi-apping those 2 or 3, getting 2 or 3 routes, and they pay about $1.25 a mile mostly, which is not
Yeah.
bad for for SUV.
It's our friend in Philly and
Mm-hmm.
Josh B. And so, Josh, if you're listening to this, what I think happened with your order is that you picked up a curry, and then you got a thing saying, don't bother going. It's been unassigned from you. That usually means it's been reassigned, not like it's not. So like all curry cares about is self unassigned. Like if you take something and then you unassign yourself, they get pissed. But if they
Yeah,
unassign it from you, it has no bearing on you. It sucks
yeah, yeah.
because if you wanted it, that sucks. But and I've even been, and it's only, I mean, I've been doing this 2 years on the Curry platform alone. And if I'm heading towards the location, maybe once or twice, it's unassigned it where I'm like,
Yeah, but
why? I'm
I've
moving
had that
towards
happen
it.
with the freight app. Yeah, so I don't know
Yeah,
if
but I
I
mean,
took too
usually if
long
I'm
to get
moving towards it
moving.
though, it doesn't
Yeah,
screw with me though.
yeah, yeah. So I think that I was kind of idling around before I actually got moving before. But yeah, that's so once I got moving, I looked at my app and I actually got to the pickup warehouse one time, and I had the app sitting down. I didn't notice it canceled. And I was like, what the? Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of pissed me off there.
Yeah, because you want to watch. Because when you're
Yeah.
unassigned, I mean, the thing is, I can't speak for every one of these apps, but the ones I use, not even all of them do this, but not all of them have like a warning that comes in and says you've been unassigned. It's just
Yeah.
like it'll be gone in your
Gone.
delivery,
Yeah,
so you
gone. Yeah,
gotta.
yeah, yeah. That's how it
But
is. You look, you go have to go back and open the app, and you'll see and go check your order list and say this order has been canceled
yeah,
or whatever. Yeah. So yeah,
you know,
I've had that happen.
sometimes I wonder if it's people like who saw the order come up and really want it and know it's like because of where the pin drop was, they're like, oh, that's Ferguson Plumbing. I know where that is. And then they go in and are like, yeah, I'm here to get this order. And then it gets grabbed, and
Mm,
then the system says, oh, no, it was picked up. And it's like unassigned the guy driving
on the
out.
side, yeah. I think that does happen. No, because what happened? I have been at the tire warehouse and had a larger vehicle, and somebody pulled up with a smaller vehicle, and they couldn't fit in there, and they went ahead and assigned me the order. Or if I was already going that way, and no one came to pick up the other order, they went ahead and assigned it to me. And I was like, okay, so I think that could happen as well. Somebody was there picking up something else already, and they're going,
Well,
"Oh, I
and
grab that one
especially
too."
with these
Yeah.
courier apps, because if they take a screenshot, if you're new
Mm-hmm.
to them, you wouldn't know what the location is. But
No.
if you took a screenshot and didn't accept it, and you're like, oh, because
Yeah.
I can tell
Because
what they
it's
are.
the same. It's the same. Pretty much the same
Yeah.
locations over and
Yeah.
over again. A lot of these places. So the pickup. The warehouse. The stores.
Yeah. So
That
if you
that
look at
they
it and you're
go.
like, oh man, I'm finishing a delivery, but I'd love to take that. And then you just are like, but when I drop off, I'll be near that and try and go over there. I mean, I'm not recommending it. I just think people might do that.
Yeah. No. That's definitely
And then
what's
they
happening.
walk in, and because it's a courier service, the whole point is to get it there as fast as possible. So of course they're going to release it to somebody that shows up
Yeah.
and it's like,
Or
I
even
got
by
it.
accident. I tell a story when I was doing some medical courier work, and I had a company I was working with, MedZoomer. It was another company that the pharmacy hired called Stat Courier. Stat Courier guy had a new person come in that day and say, "This are you from MedZoomer?" He didn't really, he just had to pick up the meds, and they gave him all the orders. They gave him my orders and his orders. So when I go to come and pick up, they're like, "Hey, somebody already came and picked them up." I'm like, "No, I'm the only driver with this contract. Like, who else would?" So yeah, that mix-ups like that happen too. They send multiple orders out with the same people. So it's a lot of things that could happen
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that regard.
But what is your go-to app right now for the van?
For the van, it would be Dispatch.
Okay.
Dispatch, 'cause I would love to get on Curry and Bungee, where I see a lot of people getting large order from. But for me, it's just simply Dispatch. It's mostly paint, large paint orders, and like I said, on demand through company I have a contract with, American Expediting, who they send me on demand routes. So if it's something large that needs to be hauled, then I just do a on demand 200-mile radius.
Yeah.
May go up to Tennessee, might go to a state over, drop something off. So that's most of my work is coming from, but for purely app basis, it would be for the van dispatch.
Yeah.
Because you can do some of the other apps, but a lot of times they don't really need that van. You know what I mean? So I don't suddenly burn up all that gas. I just kind of stick to the SUV with most of those gig apps, but dispatch the large paint orders, and I might have a pallet of water or something like that here and now and then for Sam's Club.
So you do flip back and forth. You're still
Yeah,
not primarily in the van, or
yeah, we are. See, it depends on how busy it is. I tried to be primarily gig app with a cargo van, but it just simply wasn't enough work. To, you know what I mean, to pay the bills. Because I was doing that, and then if I didn't have a work, I would list it on my rental platform. So, half the time, since I had my van, most of my income has been coming from sitting on a rental platform, me renting it out. But as I'm starting to see, like, I'm just gonna start putting this thing to work, put some miles on it for at least another year, and since I figure out if I want to sell.
I'm surprised to hear that. I wonder if that's just because it's Atlanta or what, or if you have so many
Um,
people that drive
yeah,
it.
it's so many people. And then, like I said, dispatch is really the only app I found with good enough work. Even GoShare, they don't really provide me with enough work. For I don't see the orders that need van work. And there's a couple other apps, like this
Have
app
you ever
called
checked out
Pickup
Have you ever checked out Metrobi?
Metrobi. I have not, but what I've seen is the same thing. Last mile, Hello Fresh type orders.
Oh, okay. Because
I haven't
I
seen
knew that
nothing
one.
large
Yeah, one
on
thing
there.
for me with Metrobi is they're not great they're not in a ton of markets anyway. They
Yeah,
started in Boston, but I think they're in Atlanta though.
they are. Yeah, they are in Atlanta. I did get signed
Yeah.
up, but talking to other people who already signed up, like I was seeing some of their routes, and they was picking up stuff in a sedan. It was like,
Did
man,
you
this
list
is
your van though,
pretty
or
much.
your SUV?
Uh,
Because I listed my
I just the
SUV
van.
and I actually
Yeah, always just my van first,
okay.
and then I just kind of
Because I
depending on
listed
what
my
they're saying.
SUV and we did an interview with the CEO of Metrobi
Okay.
like about 6 months ago. And his vision is kind of playing out the way he said. A lot of times you got to take these guys at their word and go, okay, whatever, let's see it happen. But
Yeah.
he's actually playing it out like he said. And he told me, he's like, too bad you don't have a van in Denver.
Wow.
Because I was like,
Hmm.
I'm not really seeing anything. I was communicating
Yeah.
with him. I'm like, I see a couple things. I'm glad you're here in the market. I'm glad
Yeah.
you're trying to grab a share of the market, but I'm not seeing many orders I'd grab. And he's like, don't you have a cargo van? I was like, no, SUV. He's like, oh, he's like, if you had a van, you'd be set.
Hmm. So they have it, I guess, what set per vehicle, what they send you.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to go back and
That's the
double
same
check.
way Curry is. So when you get on Curry,
Yeah.
you won't see, if you list the SUV, you can only have one car on Curry.
Yeah.
They don't, as soon as you replace it with another vehicle, the other one goes away. It's not even a backup. It leaves
Mm.
their system. They only keep one car of record on file. So you want to file the biggest vehicle you have.
Yeah, and that's what I tend to do. But yeah. Huh.
But then
That's interesting.
if you were to change it to the SUV once you're accepted and you're on Curry, you'll only see up to SUV size orders. That's why to
Yeah. That.
really it makes it hard for me to make this determination to get a cargo van or whatever, a sprinter. But I mean, I've decided to do it by just doing my research, and I've talked to people who do have sprinter vans here in Denver, and what they do see on Curry's much better than what I see. And what I see is great as an SUV.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, most of them,
That's
most of them.
most of the orders I see. Yeah, just SUV base, and then if I can get to them in time, yeah, that's most of what I've been seeing. Also, primarily SUV size orders, 2 or 3 bulk items at the most.